Nice and connecting. I like that. I like that. All right. How's that sound, though? That's the most important thing. How's that sound? Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Little hot, little hot. Turn that down just a little bit. Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Awesome, awesome. What's up, you guys? What is up? I'm feeling good. I am feeling relaxed. I am feeling refreshed. Let me just wait for a couple of more outlets to connect here, because I'm still seeing some of the platforms are trying to connect. So, it's good to be back, though. I will say that. It's definitely good to be back with you guys. Had a very nice, relaxing vacation slash honeymoon, as it was pretty much a continuation of the honeymoon from a couple of months back, because I've been a newlywed now for like about 4 months. So it was nice. As some of you guys know, I did the Jericho cruise. I'm already sharing pictures on social media. I don't know if I'll make an album. I don't know if I'm gonna do that just yet, but I definitely have been posting some stuff off and on throughout the cruise, definitely since I've been back. I'm still unpacking stuff. I'm still sorting stuff out and everything. If you ask me straight up, how does it feel to be back? Honestly, I wish the cruise would have gone a week. Why 4 days? Why not a week? I really wish I could have gotten those 7 days, man. That would have been badass. But hey, there's always the next one. There's always the next one. For you guys that might be a little bit curious about my cruise experience, after I get done doing this show, me and the missus were actually going to do a special live edition of Wrestling with the Topics. She said she wanted to do it, but I got to tell you, and it's actually part of the story. I don't want to get on it on here, because otherwise it's going to be a whole different show. But man, that's all I gotta say. That's gonna be all I gotta say. Stuff that's tied to the cruise, and then definitely post cruise. It's just wow. Like you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that as soon as I'm done with this one. So look out for that. That should actually be pretty freaking solid here. All right, so it looks like we're connecting to the rest of the outlets, so that's good. All right, well then, if that's the case and everything is honestly good, I'm just going to go on ahead and we can say we can officially start the show here. Let me just go ahead, save this. Let's save this. Okay, that's good. Go ahead, you can save. You can save. Yes, good. All right, so that's saved. And let me just check one. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, let's try that again. There we go. Now it's good. Okay. And we'll activate that. And that is it. Yeah. All right. Everything looks to be up and running. So haven't missed a step when it comes to this. Welcome one. Welcome all. Well rested Lee Sanders here, checking out a new RCWR show for October 26, 2021, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. This is officially the start of the show. I usually like to do a little bit of pre-show yakety yak, and sadly, when I get ready to put the audio version of our shows available for on-demand and downloads, most folks don't get the pre-show yakety yak. But yes, this is the first show that I'm doing fresh off of the Jericho cruise. And there's actually going to be a special Wrestling with the Topics. We're going to make that episode be available for everybody. You'll be able to check me out. The missus will both be live in the flesh. And we'll be sharing with you all our experience of the Jericho cruise. If you can't wait and you got some time on your hands between school, work, commute, there's also a written up review for those of you that like to read stuff. I know there's a lot of you guys that love doing your reading. I actually have an article published on the 411 Mania website right now. And all you got to do is just head on over there at the 411 Mania site. And actually, I have the link for it that just went live in the chat. I literally just posted it 2 seconds ago. You guys should see that, and I'll also include it in the episode description for our folks on demand and downloads that like the audio. So FYI. So yeah, NWA Powerrr though. Damn good episode. I gotta say, this was actually a pretty good episode. This was their Empowerrr Edition episode. So all women, nothing but women were representing on this card. And it was phenomenal, actually. I got to give it up to the women here. This was a really good companion piece of an episode to what NWA did with that Empowerrr pay-per-view just a couple of months ago. It's good. I definitely want to see more episodes like this further down the pipeline. I'm hoping that ultimately what can happen, because honestly, NWA has a really, what they've been building so far, they've got a really good women's division. And if they can just add a couple of more pieces and just continue to build it up the way that they've been building it up so far, I ultimately would love to see a branch off, if you will, where, to follow up on what Mickie James had said a couple of months back, she ultimately wanted to see a weekly women's wrestling show. And I honestly feel that if she keeps at it, if you ask me to put some type of a timetable out there, and I hate doing timetables, I really hate doing timetables, but you were to pick my brain and think, yeah, okay, Lee, what's up? Make a bold prediction. What say you? About 2 years. About 2 years tops. If they can continue this trajectory that they've been doing so far, I think 2 years tops, they definitely will be able to get that. We'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Usually my gut instincts are pretty accurate, especially when it comes to judging characters. I'm usually pretty, my wife will tell you, I'm pretty scary, pretty dead accurate when it comes to that. So good matches on this week's Powerrr. And again, for those of you, because I get this question from time to time, how do I check out NWA Powerrr? FITE TV. You got to actually have a paid subscription to check out NWA Powerrr. You got the budget for it, great. Only costs you $5 a month. That gets you access to all episodes of NWA Powerrr content, including Power Surge. You do not get the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views are separate. I want to make sure I'm stressing that, because some people have the impression that because they've bought the NWA FITE TV subscription, that means they get the pay-per-views as well. No. The pay-per-views, that's a separate fee. Separate fee. So this week, Hex defending their NWA women's tag titles against Paola Blaze and Genocide. The Hex, they had Kenzie Page coming out just as extra muscle, as with Paola Blaze and Genocide. They had the beautiful and the lovely Taryn Terrell on their side. And as we've seen the past couple of weeks, Taryn Terrell has a way of getting herself involved in things when it counts most and all that. Great tag team matchup action as the Hex retain their NWA women's tag titles. Hex continues to be one of my favorite tag teams right now in the NWA. And, you know, here's the thing, though. I like what's going on here with the women's division, but if you're asking me straight up, if there's one thing about the women's division that you think might be a little bit hurting, or maybe not necessarily hurting, but it could use a little bit more improvement, what area would you say, Lee? The women's tag division could definitely use a couple of more pieces. And what I mean by that primarily, and I'll defend NWA a little bit here on this point, where they could use a little bit more help is with their tag division, for the simple fact there's not enough women. You feel where I'm coming from? There's really not enough women. I personally feel. I feel as though if they maybe added about maybe 6 more women, and out of those 6 women, I mean, if you really want to break it down, out of those 6 women, maybe have 4 of those women be tag teams. Okay, so okay, you 4 women, okay, you 2, you're a team. You 2 over here, you're a team. If they maybe were to do it along those lines, I think that would probably help a ton. By the way, I can't believe I have forgot to do this already. Indulge me for a quick second. I forgot to actually put out the social media blast that we were live right now. So I can do that real quick here. And I can just give me a second here. I can't believe I almost forgot that. But I'm sure you guys that watch the NWA product, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Because, I mean, you're looking at the current NWA landscape right now. And really, other than Polar Blaze, Genocide, Terrence Terrell, you know, as far as like tag team combo in there, you know, we want to do a mix and match, you know, you really, in the Hex, you really don't have, you feel me? So then the question becomes, okay, well, what women would you like to see? Maybe come on over into the NWA, help out a little bit, help out with their women's division and all that. And honestly, it's simple for me, especially because you got this great relationship that's going on between the NWA, AEW, also Impact Wrestling. I personally would love to see a scenario come about where Havoc maybe got involved. I also wouldn't mind seeing Rosemary. There's another one, Havoc's tag partner at one point. I can't think of her name right now. Her name, I think it was, oh, yeah, it's escaping me right now. It's going to come to me when I least expect it. And the only reason why I'm forgetting her name now is because she rolled out of Impact Wrestling a couple of months back. So, but I thought her and Havoc were a really, really, really good tag team. As a matter of fact, see, that's going to bother me now. I got to mention that name because I know some of you guys that especially don't even watch the Impact product. You guys are probably going to be like, yeah, I know Havoc, Jessica Havoc. You're like, I don't know the other girl that you're talking about there, Lee. And I'll actually tell you the other girl's name that I'm thinking because I'm going to feel really, really bad because as soon as I see her name, I'm going to be like, how the hell could I forget that? Yeah, she left Impact Wrestling, I want to say maybe earlier this year. I'm actually looking at the last set of matches right now for her. And nah, it wasn't Rosemary. It wasn't Rosemary. Hang on. I'm still looking here. Nope. Nevaeh. I can't believe, yeah. I knew it was like some name that like, now you kind of understand why I probably have forgot because a name like that. Yeah, but Nevaeh is who I was thinking of. Yeah, they're a pretty good tag team. Looking at the AEW standpoint, you know, not for nothing, but I would still love to see Thunder Rosa do a little something there for the NWA. But if it's gotten to a point where she's not really going to be working in the NWA like she used to, then what about Diamante? I would not mind seeing Diamante right down to the point. I remember when I was covering WOW, Women of Wrestling, and when it came to the tag team tournament that was going on down there, at one point, Diamante and Kiera Hogan were tag partners. They were tag partners, believe it or not. They were tag partners. So, and you know, they're a real life couple. They are a real life couple. So, you know, there's a lot of interesting combinations that you could definitely do. Of course, ultimately, like what I've been saying the past couple of weeks, I would love to see the beautiful people reform, and you know, but you don't really have a really good established heel tag team right now, and that's probably the biggest problem that's going about with the NWA women's division right now. It's just when you look at that tag division, it's kind of lacking right there. As far as singles goes, that's okay. That's actually okay, believe it or not. But yeah, that tag division could definitely lose a little bit more help. So just my 2 cents, could be wrong on that, but just my opinion on that from a distance. Also, Kylie Ray, Chelsea Green, and Melina, they were involved in a triple threat match where a number 1 contendership spot was up for grabs. Whoever won this was going to win the right to face the NWA Women's Champion, the Brickhouse Camille. at Hard Times 2, the pay-per-view coming up in November, and Melina coming away with the W here. Honestly, totally okay. Totally okay with this move. This move does not bother me whatsoever. From the simple fact, the past several weeks now, we have seen this feud that's been building up between Melina and Camille. The brutal beatdown that Camille gave to Melina for Melina, essentially trash talking Camille. And Camille wasn't having any of that. So, it's just been going back and forth between these two women. And now things have pretty much culminated. Remember some of the things that Camille had said when she was asked in interviews on Powerrr, hey, what's up with Melina? Would you accept a challenge from Melina to go head to head and maybe put your 10 pounds of gold on the line? And Camille always said she was about it. She was always willing to do it, but we kept hearing that. But we never actually saw her get in the face of Melina and say, you name the time, you name the place, and we'll actually do the damn thing. We never did definitively see Camille do that. So to get to this point where we had this number one contendership and Melina comes out on top, I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that. Right person had won right here. But look, I still think now, when we're talking about the NWA Women's Championship division there, we're looking at all of that. I mean, there's some really great pieces that you got going on in there. Kylie Ray, you could definitely build her up to be that number one babyface if you maybe wanted to have her next chase after Camille and the championship. I still got a soft spot for Sky Blue, who we'll talk about in a little bit because she was in action on this episode. Sky Blue is definitely another one that you could go with. You could also go with Kiera Hogan, but see, with Kiera Hogan, it really depends on what happens on the next batch of episodes of NWA Powerrr, because Kiera Hogan was in a main event match tonight. She closed out this Empowerrr edition of NWA Powerrr. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But yeah, you got some really good pieces that's in there. By the way, we did have the By Any Means Necessary pay-per-view that had came about over the weekend. I thought I was going to be able to check this out, and sadly, because I was at sea, internet was a no-go. It was a no-go. So I was not able to watch this. I haven't even been home a full 24 hours. I did not get home finally until 2 a.m. this morning. This morning is when I finally got home. So, yeah, so I'm still pretty much far behind on that. But I do want to give some love there for that NWA By Any Means Necessary card. This is how the show goes sometimes. We just go with the flow, whatever kind of, fits the narrative, whatever kind of fits where we are with the show. We just go with the flow, basically. That's how we do it on most of these shows. Scion, and actually, bear with me a second here. Oh, we didn't even miss it yet. Okay, wow, that's awesome. That makes me excited. That is great. Okay, so apparently, because remember, I was telling you guys about this. I kept saying that it was happening on October 24th, but it looks like the way that they are going about this, yes, they did this pay-per-view on October 24th, but it's not going to be airing until October the 27th. Yeah, it's not going to be airing until October 27th. So that's actually pretty good. So I tell you what, keeping that in mind, because I was under the impression it happened over the weekend, and it actually did. Why my alarm's going off, I have the slightest clue. But yeah, it went down over the weekend. So, all right. So I'll tell you what, we'll look at the full card preview for that, and I'll give you guys my predictions. I think that's fair, right? We'll do it that way. Let's see. Let's continue on, though. Other action for tonight's Powerrr. Tootie Lynn had faced Camille. By the way, before we get to that matchup, post-match, it was a little bit later on in the show, but since we're still kind of going with the flow and we were just talking about that triple threat, Melina did speak to May Valentine afterwards about the opportunity that she now has where she gets to face the NWA champion Camille. And she pretty much talked about how, she knows about everything that she's accomplished in her respected career. She knows that she's a decorated champion. She knows that she's put that stamp on the business. But she admitted that despite everything that she's accomplished, there's times where she has doubted herself, and just some of the things that's been coming at her from Camille has definitely messed her up in the head a little bit. So for her to get this victory, becoming the #1 contender, going in there to face Camille for the championship, she really is excited about the opportunity. And I'm paraphrasing here, of course, but she's hoping that she's going to be able to rise to the occasion, yet again, and, maybe prove the naysayers wrong, for sure, Camille. So it was a really, really good speech. I enjoyed the promo. I enjoyed the promo that she put out there, really fired up, really passionate about this next phase that's going to be happening in her career very shortly. So good stuff right there. Meanwhile, Tootie Lynn had faced Camille. Now, this was just originally a straight up one-on-one matchup. But we find out as Camille makes her way to the ring, Billy Corgan and crew, they decided that this match would not be for the NWA Women's Championship. However, if our girl Tootie Lynn had won, then she would have won the right to face Camille for the championship. So an interesting little caveat that was put in here. Look, I like the fact that they made Tootie Lynn here look pretty good. I mean, it was not a squash match. So let's first get that out the way. It wasn't a squash match, even though you looked at this and you said to yourself, oh, yeah, there's no way that Tootie Lynn, come on now, like, seriously. So I think that it made a lot more sense the way that they went about booking this match and add that little caveat to it and everything. And also, once again, you get to spin that narrative that maybe Billy Corgan and crew, they don't like strictly business, that they got it in for them. They got that hard on for them, and any chance that they're able to nickel and dime them and kind of do some type of fuckery to them, they're going to go there. So it's kind of interesting that you have that narrative put out there and everything. Nice little competitive match. Tootie Lynn had some bright spots there. She's really growing on me. I got to say, she's really, really growing on me. I would love to see Tootie Lynn on a more regular basis in NWA. I'm most curious to see what's going to be happening once NWA starts filming their shows, in other areas. If Tootie Lynn is going to continue to be able to make those future shows, depending on where they're going to be and all that. I hope she is, because personally, I think she's a really great addition to their women's division. So not necessarily a squash match. It went a lot longer than I thought it would. Nice little back and forth, but definitively Camille with the victory, sparing the shit out of Tootie Lynn. Good little matchup. Can't really complain about that one. Just the right amount of time. Wasn't too long, just right. I like that. In and out, pretty much in and out. See, Lady Frost picking up a victory over Sky Blue. And the way that they did this, it was a first ever Mildred Burke rules match. Now, what does that mean when you hear Mildred Burke rules match? Well, first of all, if you don't know who Mildred Burke is, I've been telling you guys with a passion off and on over the years to do your research, read up on the girl. And I always tell you guys, and I usually always grab this book. Hang on here. I always grab this book and I say, if you're a fan of old school pro wrestling and you don't know a thing or two about people like Mildred Burke, but you're willing to read up on them and everything, you could definitely start by picking up this book, The Queen of the Ring by Jeff Lean.
Tells the entire story. There you go. For those of you checking out the webcast here, here you go. That's how it looks. By Jeff Lean. Jeff Lean was a managing editor for the Washington Post, and he won numerous Pulitzer prizes. And he's the author of Kings of Cocaine, Inside the Medallion Cartel. Great author. Jeff Lean, really, really badass. At one point, Jim Ross was trying to obtain the rights to make a biography movie on the life and career of Mildred Burke. He had talked about this during his one-man show when he was going to the comedy clubs and all that. I saw him at Improv, and he was going in more detail about Mildred Burke and everything. And when you read up on her, you're just like, wow, this is, right down to the point, and it's kind of funny because I remember when I was talking with the producers of Dark Side of the Ring, this was like the first 2 seasons. And I remember, saying to the producers, I said, look, you want to talk about doing an episode of Dark Side of the Ring on somebody who, wow, that it'd be really good to bring this to the forefront for, this newer generation and everything, Mildred Burke. And, basically the long story short that I had got, like the first go round when I pitched it, it was, yeah, that's a really good idea. We'll definitely look into that. We'll talk about that. And it was like, okay. And then I remember when I brought it up a second time, the answer that I was given that time was, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically it was, that's an era that is so many decades removed. Really don't think that there would be a unanimous, yes, that's an episode that we want to see. And honestly, that would probably be more in line for some type of a documentary, things of that nature. Just the way it was, basically what I got, the translation of it was, that ain't happening. And yet we can do episodes on stuff that, hey, let's be honest, some of the episodes that we've gotten as of late from Dark Side of the Ring has been kind of, why are we getting this? And when you read up on Mildred, I'm sure many of you guys will go, yeah, I'll take the Mildred over, insert whatever you want to insert. But yeah, research on that. So now, once you've understood who Mildred Burke is, what she means to the business and all that, Mildred Burke rules. Basically, this was a traditional style match where the only way you could win was by pinfall or submission. You could not use any moves off of the top rope. You could not use the ropes whatsoever to pull off trying to, execute a move or whatever. It was one of those types of matches. The rules they laid out, I thought it was pretty good. We saw a couple of points there where Lady Frost, it kind of seemed as though she just was not given a you-know-what. She was going to do her trademark high-risk moves and all that, but right when she was thinking about doing it, Sky Blue came in, stopped her and all of that. Lady Frost winning by grabbing a handful of tights. That was the other thing. Like this was straight up just supposed to be one of those traditional, old school, kind of like a honor, like a Ring of Honor type of match, right? Like honor for honor type of match. But the referee did not see when Lady Frost had grabbed a handful of tights and picked up the 3 count that way. It's not cheating unless you get caught, as Al Bundy used to say. So that was it for that one. Nice match up there. Main event match, Mickie James taking on Kiera Hogan. Remember the past few weeks what we've been seeing on Powerrr between Kiera Hogan and James. Kiera feeling as though Mickie is disrespecting her by, kind of psycho. And I'm digging it. I did crazy. But Kiera thinking she's hearing one thing, all this negative publicity from Mickie James, and that's not the case at all. Mickie is spinning nothing but praise for her, like what the hell. But then when it counts the most, and it's all about, okay, what's going on with a spot at NWA's, next little show. You doing another all women show? What's up with that? Right? We were here. We talked about this, right? We didn't do an episode last Tuesday, but the week before. No, actually, I think we did do an episode. I'm thinking about it. We actually did do an episode last Tuesday, right? So we talked about actually no. I'm trying to think. I remember it was a Power Surge episode that they did last week, and I remember how it was just a lot of recycled stuff. So I don't think we did a show last Tuesday. I could be wrong, but you guys know what I'm saying. The last time that we were on the air, basically, we recapped all of this for you guys. So you got all that friction, is my point, going into this matchup. And yet, despite all of that friction, both of these women still embraced each other in a handshake before this match started and everything. Really great back and forth. Nice technical matchup. Kiera Hogan continuing to prove to me, as I've been a fan of her work for a good handful of years now. Man, it feels like I've been following her work now for at least 4, maybe 5 years. My girl is really, she has come a long way, and I just continue to be amazed by the hard work and dedication that she continues to put in there. She looked like she belonged in that match there with Mickie James. I mean, the pacing of it, she didn't come off at all like a deer in headlights. Everything was just smooth. Great chemistry, great in-ring chemistry between her and Mickie James. Look, we've seen it with our own 2 eyes, checked out enough wrestling over the years. You just look at some matchups and you go, yeah, you know what? It ain't clicking right here. Y'all styles, it ain't meshing well. Let's try something else, right? Like, let's not see you 2 guys face each other again. But these girls just out of the gate, they just clicked. I had thought for sure, because there was one point in the match where something weird happens. It was in story. It wasn't legit. But there was a spot where Mickie James kind of landed funny on one of her knees. And you're thinking that Kiera is pretty much going to go in there. She smells blood, and she's just going to... That wasn't even the case at all. Kiera actually backed off, wanted the ref to check on Mickie, wanted to make sure that they could continue on with the match. Mickey's like, yeah, let's do it. And it just kept going on like that. And I thought for sure that if Kiera wasn't going to go in because she was smelling blood, I thought for sure, well, maybe Mickie James is playing possum and she's going to pull a fast one. And that wasn't even the case at all, as the match had continued on for several minutes after that point. But Mickie James coming away with an upset pin. It was kind of one of those quick roll-ups. You thought Kiera was going to be able to kick out in time, but referee was able to make the 3 count. I can't help but look at that and go, I smell a little bit of controversy here, because I just don't feel that the Kiera Hogan, Mickie James, I don't feel that's over yet. I feel as though, let me tell you what I think is going to happen here. I think on the next episode or 2 of Power, Mickie James is going to come out. She's going to reminisce about that matchup with Kiera Hogan, talk about how fantastic of a match it was, how Kiera's really coming along. She's proving why she belongs in the NWA, why she belongs in the women's division, got all the tools to be a women's champion. I can see Mickie James putting her over, but I could also see Kiera coming out and basically saying, yo, that crap with your knee, that was some bullshit. You and I both know damn well you weren't really injured. You were just trying to figure out a way to throw me off. I can see Kiera saying something along those lines. I could also see her saying Mickie had the referee there in her back pocket, because they both know that should not have been a 3 count. I can still see Kiera Hogan, to my point, coming out and doing the conspiracy theory, little gag reel that she's been doing the past couple of times she's been meeting up with Mickie. So don't think that because we saw what we saw here, notice how at the end of the match, notice there wasn't a handshake between the two girls. Notice we didn't get that nice little sportsmanship spot right there. So I think that's very, very important. And furthermore, I think we will get some type of a spot like that. But I think the end result is going to be one of those WrestleMania joints with Shawn Michaels and Jericho. You remember how that had panned out. So, but overall, pretty good episode of NWA Powerrr. Went about 50 minutes long. The episode for this week. I mean, 5 matches too. Good stuff. We got a cameo there from our boy, what's his name? Kratos. We saw Kratos, who had a message, just continuing to spin it there on Aaron Stevens. Aaron Stevens needing to check himself. Pharaoh and the other guy's name, I can't think right now. The End, they had came out, and Pharaoh actually admitted that he was jealous of the women getting the props and everything that they've been getting from Empowerrr and the special show that they were doing this week, as he's an openly gay man, and he wants to know where his flowers are and all that. But he also spun it back on Kratos, saying, look, no, damn well all you care about is yourself, getting yourself over and everything. It was kind of weird how this all had clashed. It was really, really weird. Just so left field, honestly. So left field. So random. Yeah, so random. So a little bit of NWA wrestling news for you guys before we look at that By Any Means Necessary card. It looks like the NWA Women's Tag Team titles are going to be on the line on this coming week's ROH Women's Division Wednesday. Looks like the Allures, Angelina Love and Mandy Leon, they're going to be getting a shot against Allison Kay and Marty Bell's titles on this coming Wednesday's ROH show. So check that out. Check that out. If you're fans of the Hacks, you love what's going on with the Allure, check that out when you guys get a chance. There are some spoilers that's floating around in regards to the NWA By Any Means Necessary pay-per-view. I'm not going to give you guys the spoilers right now. I think it makes more sense we process it when we're able to see it with our own 2 eyeballs. Here's the quick card rundown, though, for By Any Means Necessary. Scion taking on Mims. I'm going to go with Scion for that one because we are still building up that feud there between Scion and Tyrus. I don't think those guys are quite done with each other just yet, as Tyrus continues to throw bars at Scion. So Scion right here, I'm seeing picking up the dub. Jediah is taking on Saul Renaro, and this is for Jediah's NWA National Championship title shot. Now, if Saul Renaro loses, he cannot challenge for the title again for 18 months. Yes, if Saul loses, he cannot challenge for the NWA National Championship for 18 months. Look, I appreciate the stipulation and everything, but come on, man. We already know this is going to be Jediah's. No matter how you want to dress this up, okay? That's like taking a cheeseburger and deep frying it and some, it's still a cheeseburger. Or, okay, I'm just going to take this cheeseburger, I'm going to dunk it into a cake, a chocolate cake, and it's still, you can decorate this however you want to decorate it. Like, it's going to be Jediah's hands down. Come on, man. Camille, Kenzie Page, they're scheduled to go at it for Camille's NWA Women's Championship. It's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match for the NWA Women's Championship. And then remember, Melina's the number 1 contender there, so hard times 2. Camille, Melina, I feel, are going to be locking up. So I just put the spoiler out there. Camille, look, it's going to be a great opportunity for Kenzie Page. And remember what I had said there in regards to Kenzie Page as far as Following up on what I had said when I was looking at the card from last week, last time we were on there talking power, look, Kenzie is definitely that underdog. And remember what I said, the tone that you got to set for this matchup, have Kenzie be the one out of the gate to get the W over Camille. I think that would really, really set the tone there, and then just pretty much go from there. Colby, Carino taking on Pulp. Remember, interesting development here too. Pulp received a phone call during this episode of Power, as he was the special guest color commentator with Velvet Sky and Joe Galley. Guess Tim Storm was on assignment, but they were the ones calling the action. And right before the main event match, Pulp received a phone call, and he just hauled ass afterwards. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with his championship title opportunity. Because remember, he's got one too that he can cash in at any time. So was somebody maybe giving him some interesting news and saying, look, man, really think you should look into this? Really think you need to pull the trigger? What was up with that phone? But I feel that phone call had a lot to do with when and where Pulp is going to be cashing in that championship. So keep your eyes peeled on that one. If you were to ask me to make a prediction or whatever, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'm just looking at the current landscape. I don't quite feel Pulp is gonna. Yeah. Because remember what Pulp said. Pulp said he would not do anything backhanded to Trevor Murdoch. That it would always be head on. He would always conduct his business with Murdoch face to face. But things can change, right? Things can change. I got to watch the next 2 episodes of Power to really see where we're going here with Pulp. But yeah, James Storm versus Tim Storm bunkhouse match. I think we said James Storm, did we not? I'm pretty sure we went with James Storm. Trevor Murdoch, Nick Aldis taking on Tom Latimer, Chris Adonis. I think for this one, we went on ahead and I think we actually went with Latimer and Adonis. And I remember saying something about fuckery being involved with that one. I got to make sure I put up the match card rundown as a separate joint on YouTube. Hex taking on Tootie Lynn and a mystery tag partner for the NWA Women's Tag Titles. Could that mystery partner be Kylie Ray? Could it be somebody we haven't seen in a good minute, right? And then we still got the Crimson versus Jax Dane matchup. I believe for this one, I actually went with Jax Dane, if I'm not mistaken. So card is pretty much still the same since we did the rundown of it last time. It's nice to come on back, just follow up on it one more time so you guys know what's on the up and up here. But other than that pretty much is it. It's relatively been quiet here. There was a Elijah Burke / the Pulp interview that he did recently, where he talked about growing up watching the NWA product, being a fan of Dusty Rhodes, what it would mean to him to be the NWA world champion and everything. And it was a really good interview. I definitely would recommend you guys check it out when you get a chance. And it looks like it was with the Battleground podcast. So I've never heard of them, but I did check out the interview, and I thought the boys there had did a pretty good job. So good job, boys. See, I give props and all that and praise when it needs to be given to other shows, even though, most of the time other shows don't give me my flowers, but that's okay. We got you, the listeners. You guys always definitely give me the flowers there, and I appreciate that. All right, so this show is now in the books. I'm going to stick a fork in it, and I'm going to call this one D-O-N-E, done. I will be coming right back in a hot minute, and we are going to do that special episode of Wrestling with the Topics for you guys, as we will talk all things Jericho Cruise. So stay tuned for that. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcast. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And as you get ready to make your exit, if you haven't done so already, please go out of your way and hit that like button. YouTube has this great algorithm, and the more likes that they see that one video gets, really helps out big time as far as channel recommendations, making our channel more discoverable. Some people feel that when they hit the dislike, they're really sticking it to the content creator. The dislikes help as far as the algorithm goes in making the channel discoverable as well. So, we win either way. You like what I do? Spread the word. Let me know what you thought about this week's NWA card. Any possible winners you see that's going to be coming about from this By Any Means Necessary pay-per-view, and or a number of the points that I have brought up during this show. All right, that's going to do it. Hey, y'all be safe, be kind to one another, and I will check you guys out for Wrestling with the Topic in a hot little bit. And then don't forget, Wednesday night, new RCWR show after Dynamite goes off the air. I'll be back with you guys. We'll be talking Dynamite Fallout. We'll also talk about the highs and lows of tonight's NXT Halloween Havoc card that's gonna have a special guest there in Chucky. So I'm looking forward to talking about all of that on Wednesday's show. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace.